welcome to today's episode of JetTalks. I'm your host, Jim Gallagher, CEO of JetStor, and I'm joined by our illustrious founder, Mr. Gene Lazarovich. Welcome, Gene, to the show. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Jim? Doing great.
Yeah, thanks for joining me here in beautiful South Florida as we get ready to attend the Miami Open, the South Florida Tech Hub. So, Gene, what's going on, man?
Well, it's nice to see you here in Florida.
Yeah,
welcome. All
great.
the way from Texas, right?
It's great to be here. I was telling Chet some Jim lore as I was actually born in Fort Lauderdale.
You were born in Fort Lauderdale?
I'm from here, man.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow, what a news. That's like new. That's a completely new information that I had no idea about.
I'm saying, man, I'm an onion. I got layers. So you had no idea.
Wow, that's exciting. Well, hopefully you'll be here more because now I think with chat and I'm going to be here and I think we're going to start developing Florida, and looks like we have some good connections here and more and more coming on board. So I think we're going to have some good time here in Florida.
Yeah, it's really been interesting to hear about the South Florida tech community kind of growing up. I was speaking with our mutual friend Joshua Feinberg, and he was telling me that South Florida has been in tech for a while, but it's really kind of like flown under the radar.
Right.
Even for yourself and JetStor. Historically as a company, right, it's had those deep Pittsburgh roots,
right?
And now I'm trying to spread the gospel in Austin, Texas. But as you mentioned, like this is quickly becoming like our satellite location down here.
Yes.
So what's been your impression of like South Florida now that you have a home down here, correct?
Yes. Yeah. So we have a home here, and we are hopefully we'll be moving here at some point. But I've been here since November. And working and trying to develop some of the contacts here in Florida and customers and partners. We're lucky to have chat, with us now. So it'd be a great addition to the team. And we've really had some good meetings, a few weeks ago, and working on some partnerships here in Florida. And definitely, it's a very growing scene, and I'm very impressed with South Florida, what it has to offer in terms of tech.
Have you noticed any discrepancy in like the types of customer that are down here? Because again, like from my perspective, when I think Miami, I don't necessarily think like tech hub or tech community, but I think I'm probably mistaken in that.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, but they do have a lot of organizations and gatherings, that we've been part of now. That actually there's a lot of tech going on, a lot of companies that are doing even cloud and AI and all the new innovations that's happening here. So in South Florida, because a lot of people are moving from the East Coast, New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, even Pennsylvania, and we've seen a lot of growth in Florida. I think we're going to be really having a good luck here in Florida and developing this area.
All right, so Gene, you've been at this now for 31 years. Kind of insane to think about it. Like, why are you still here? Like, what still interests you about storage?
Well, it's just never boring with storage. It's always evolving. I mean, it's as you've seen. We started in '94, and we were doing 4 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte drives. And RAID was still cool until it's
RAID is still cool.
RAID is still cool. RAID is still cool. So until we had RAID.com. I don't know if you know that story. We had RAID.com, and we actually sold it to the guys that do the spray, the bug spray. So that's an interesting story. But yeah, so it's definitely evolving, and it's becoming more of a platform and more like infrastructure. So it's definitely getting interesting now with object and. It's getting bigger and bigger in the cloud and, private cloud and hybrid cloud and, working with all the different partners. So it still interests me to be in the space and helping JetStor grow. So now we rebranded ourselves as JetStor all the way. So I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah. And, we recently announced the launch of JetStor Signature. Ideally, like targeting some of these larger object storage use cases, or really any kind of distributed storage. So, what has been your feelings talking to like some of our bigger clients about their appetite for this sort of thing?
Yeah, so that's actually very good timing for us to do the JetStor Signature because a lot of people are now interested in object due to compatibility with VMware and encryption that's object only supports. So because we've been doing a lot of block, iSCSI, Fiber Channel, and NAS, but now we are going to be doing object with a signature line, which is really, really exciting. I think it's going to be hopefully our very well producing line. So I think we're going to do well with it. So I was very excited that you introduced it, and hopefully hopefully we'll do good with it. So we'll see.
Yeah. It seems like really that's the appetite in terms of a storage consumption paradigm that we're hearing more of from our clients. Right? Is they've adopted cloud in some form or fashion, and they've really grown accustomed to the object paradigm,
right?
Versus file or block.
Yeah. What I'm seeing is, also the scale out part of it. So where before we were just selling, it's like a single appliances, and obviously we have larger customers now that want to be able to just start maybe with 100 terabytes and grow it to multiple petabytes, and that's what the signature is going to do, for us. So we'll be able to actually grow it and scale it out. That's going to be very, very interesting, and the grid architecture with SAF, is going to be very, very interesting for us, I think. So I think we're going to do well with it this year.
Yeah, we're obviously really excited about the launch, and glad we shipped it out the door. So going back to some of the historical roots, you mentioned that we really started doing iSCSI and block. Do you see those technologies going away anytime soon, or we still have an appetite for it?
Yeah, I don't. Everybody's talking about, even tape. We actually now also been doing tape as we started working with a partner doing, offering even tape drives. So I don't think anything is really going away, but, it's just going to be kind of, becoming more of a, kind of boutique type thing. But I think a lot of it seems like it's going to object this year. And, it's been, I think everybody's going to be doing object already, but iSCSI and Fiber Channel and NAS, technologies are going to stay. Because there's still going to be virtualization of, any, depending on, a lot of people are going away from Broadcom with VMware thing, but, there's Proxmox and KVM and other technologies that are coming on the virtualization part. So it's going to be very, very interesting. I think nothing is going away, and it's just the same thing, disk is not going away, and this, everybody's saying it's going to be all flash. It's not going to be all flash. So, I've seen it, like you said, 31 years, we're still going strong with, selling disks, and now the next generation is going to be 26 terabyte, 30 terabyte disk. We already seen even with archive, we've seen a lot of archive applications that are coming online, for even with SMR drives. So there's a lot of things that we can help with, and I think our portfolio is becoming very, wide and rich, with offerings. So we can offer, any kind of customer, even enterprise customer, SMB customer, we can pretty much cover, all the bases.
One thing that I kind of find fascinating, I really want to get your perspective on, is really the use cases for storage, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about, how people consume storage technologies, my gut feeling is that the use cases really haven't changed that much over 31 years, right? Some of the particular technologies may have changed,
right,
like virtualization a little bit, and now HPC has quickly rebranded itself to AI. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
What's your perspective? Has the broad use cases changed that much, or has it still been kind of similar over the?
It's kind of evolved. Obviously now, with a cloud and private cloud, it's becoming more accessible. Before it was more of where basically people had it on-prem. Now it's all more hybrid model, and then becoming more basically like a cloud model. So, and with some of even our partners like Hammerspace, with orchestration, you can actually use different types of storage in different types of environments. So there's definitely different technologies that we have seen in the past 5 to 10 years, and it's very, very interesting to see the evolution of storage, where it's becoming not just a single server with a single storage, or maybe multiple servers with multiple storages, where you can actually now manage multiple different storages with one platform like Hammerspace, for example. So we are also partnering with them now, and we have a really good solutions offering with those guys as well. So I'm very excited about our partnerships, with Hammerspace, Amove, and others as well. So
yeah, really cool. So One thing we chatted a little bit about earlier was like the makeup of the people who work in the storage industry. And one thing I have found to be kind of interesting for myself, being like a relatively like young person, is that storage tends to be, from my perspective at least, like an older man's game. What's your feeling on that?
It's a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of guys that have done it for a while, like storage admins and sysadmins, and yeah, a lot of them are kind of becoming getting aged out. So, but I think the younger guys are more interested in like a private cloud, and doing that. But I think there's still appetite for younger guys to learn, because it's a good trade to be in, because the storage is not going anywhere, the data is not going anywhere. We want to store everything that now is AI and ML, and like you said, HPC, and even we've seen a lot of for surveillance, video surveillance. We've seen a lot of projects there. We just actually won an airport project of 2 petabytes, so which is pretty cool. So we still seeing a lot of people going into this industry, but it's becoming, they're obviously sharing some other things like doing virtualization and storage and things like that. So yeah, it's kind of getting evolved and changing a little bit, but there's still need for talent there.
So going back to like the early days of ACNC, even before it was JetStor, like,
yeah.
What prompted you to kind of specialize in storage?
Well, basically, as you know, our story, we actually, when I came, I had basically a friend who was working back in Russia. As you know, I came from Moscow and he was in Moscow, and at the time there was a banking system that needed backup and data storage, and we read this white paper, which was a RAID white paper that was done by Berkeley and the Carnegie Mellon professors, and basically describe the RAID levels and everything like that. And then, we kind of, well, maybe this could be cool, this could be interesting, this could be the next big thing. And it sure was. The RAID was, very new and very exciting thing, and nobody was doing it, until like guys like EMC, Dell, came in, HP and DEC and others. So, we were competing against some big names in the space. So, it was just fascinating to see how we can combine the drives into one array and just make them work together. And actually, when one fail, the data is still there. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, honestly, man, I think it's phenomenal that even after all this time, you're still
I'm still in it. I'm still excited about it. Yeah, that's right. That's why they call me Czar of Storage.
Czar of Storage, oh God.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, did you get some new business cards printed up for you?
Yeah. Well, people recognize me now. I don't even need business cards anymore. So when I walk in, people are like, oh, that's Gene. Yeah. So some people, like...
Yeah, for better or worse, man.
Some people maybe like they walk away, and some people approach me. So, you never know.
Well, what do you like? What are you most excited about for the future here with JetStor?
Well, I think I really like the idea of, like I said, the object. I think the scale out part is going to be really cool. The JetStor Signature line. I think our alliances, with our partners, where we can work with different technologies. I think scale out, is going to be really cool. So definitely, storage is not going anywhere. So we're going to, keep going, and very excited about the new rebranding JetStor. So I think everybody's now finally going to be not mixing us with ACNC anymore. So, even though we just got mixed up by a storage newsletter, but that's okay.
It's all right. It's all right. Well, Gene, thank you so much for your time today. This has been a great conversation.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll have a good time at the Miami Open.
Definitely.